Tesla stock's in a big spot, guys. Being that we have retracted back down to the top of this weekly range we have been in for around a couple months, seeing this bull flag break up, pulling back down to the floor. Now, we're likely to see a harsh bounce moving up to these higher levels, 360, 380, 400, or eventually start to drip down amongst these lower levels. With that being said, my name is Dylan from Dylan Trades. We're going to get straight into this technical analysis prediction, wasting no time, starting on the weekly analysis. On the weekly candlesticks, we have had a very nice bounce and very predictable price action movement from the lows of 225, 230, pushing up. Everything looked really, really nice, guys, until we got hard rejected at these upper levels, being this very clear spot. Where in the past, we had a very similar setup to what we had around this time, right? We had a consolidation for around, 13 weeks or so. We pushed up before pausing very, very patiently for 1, 2, 3, and 4 weeks, moving up higher. Once we got over that level, we squeezed up to 488 from 360. We've seen another consolidation. All right, once again, we broke the floor. We hung out at this level for 1 week, 2, 3. Once we hard rejected underneath with this candle, we squeezed down hard, guys. So once again, we've seen this consolidation on the weekly perspective of around 8 or 9 weeks. We squeezed over the top. We came to this level, forming 1 and 2 inverted hammer candles. And then we got the Elon Trump news, which really just added fuel to the fire. A hard squeeze moving down. We bounced at the support level, which we came on an update on the channel. We did bounce perfectly to a set at that level, squeezing up higher. And now we're in that awkward situation where, we're in the 50% retracement within this. So this is the spot where you're likely to see very soon, right? We either start to confirm to the upside over these wicks or under these wicks, right? As we're in the 50% zone, so do we dip lower, testing this zone once again, right? Moving lower, or do we squeeze right back up where we left off last and move up towards these $400 levels ultimately? And as of on the weekly, guys, we're looking at this from a bird's eye perspective, right? That's what the weekly analysis is for. So we don't want to overanalyze the short-term momentum. We'll do that with the daily and hourly analysis, guys. But as of now, it's very much in the air. I'm very meaning to say that. Looking on the weekly, guys, it's very tossed up. So we understand that we're in a very pivotal spot. So this is a good time to go flip over to the daily to utilize the medium-term analysis to go and fill those gaps that the weekly is not giving us. Congrats to anyone who has caught the last few videos on Tesla. We've been able to read it very, very well. And Tesla's been a response to technical analysis for forever, guys. It's been a very strong stock. It is my favorite stock to trade, as some of you guys might know. And yeah, we've seen the hard reversal, the obvious bottom out at this level. Coming back up, we can influence. We mentioned in the last video, if we break over $333, we will see a breakout to the top being 360, 362. We've seen it in 1 day. And ironically, we mentioned that, tread with caution within the next day or two. After we break out, as in the past, we had the same flag reach the same level. Beautiful breakout, seeing everything you want to see, a nice uptick in volume. Nothing too crazy, but a little increase in volume. We're seeing a nice big wide bar, right? And once again, we're seeing a pretty nice confirmation in the volume, a nice big wide bar. We do have a wick on top in this scenario, but ultimately a very strong candlestick exiting the breakout level. We did get around $2 away from that level, being in the rough vicinity where this is effective, and we completely flip down, guys. So super simple image in stock price. If we break the low of this current candlestick, being $320.41, we should be moving down and retesting 314, which if broken is the bottom of this current flag. We mentioned this in the past, guys. If we break this, we can move down to, right, 293. We mentioned this over here, right? We've seen stock price break out, come down, retest the zone. We bounce momentarily, getting the wick over it being a false breakout. We push right back down, holding to this level. We mentioned that below this level, we've seen some heavy confluence, and this will end not only the confluence, but the higher low, higher high trend, right? So we broke that momentarily. Now even higher low. We crushed beneath it with the Trump news, really just sending momentum. We came down and tested this level a lot sooner than we expected. Obviously, we had news, but it really is the same image, guys. And we mentioned in the last video at this current candle, we're likely to see the breakout. We're leaning about 70% movement to the upside. We felt pretty good just because of a lot of context situations. But now seeing that bears have stepped in and completely 180, guys. I'd be sitting here freaking lying to you guys if I said that we had a 7% chance to squeeze up higher. We definitely could, but honestly, looking on the daily analysis, guys, we are still in this weekly structural perspective of breaking out of this range, being very, very strong in this upward like momentum, right? Revisiting this major low point. It looks good from the weekly and monthly, so we're still trending in this direction until proven otherwise. But from a very micro perspective, we have seen the sellers step back up, guys, pushing stock price lower. And this is the time as a trader where we need to sit back. We need to let our bias be to the side and say, hey, if we break over 333, we should be able to move up higher and retest these upper levels once again. Ultimately, if broken over this, we can see a very nice breakout. And on the let's play devil's advocate, right? If we come down and break 314.50, we should see it read these lows. And this does coincide with this ascending trend line as well. So definitely leads to a lot of data where it is a bit of an inflection point right now. So it's a little bit tricky for that reason because we're seeing long-term macro perspective, weekly, monthly analysis pointing to the upside, but we have seen some bearish divergence amongst these higher lows now printed and just a hard fake breakout. So with that being said, we're more 50-50, but we have two obvious constraints. $333, if broken above, we should test 362 and 360. If broken below 314, 54, that rough 314 level, we should be moving down, retesting this previous top of this weekly range, being around that 293 to that 290 on the hourly candlestick. Since breaking out of this very beautiful structure, we did expect to break to the upside. We've seen the harsh movement up, immediately flip down. We held this very tight level, getting very tight for around 6, 7, 8 hours. Knife down below to the top of this level, top of this descending channel. We're attempting to hold this and move up higher. As of now, you're seeing what you want to see out of the buyers, but until we can close over 333, just being a major level, guys. This was the floor for around 2 weeks within this channel, which we previously, used many times to get the bounce. We broke out, we come down, we bounced perfectly, came down, retested again, and boom. So to see this resistance be held up from this flag, which we mentioned in the last video, right? Get rid of some of this clutter, right? This is continuing to be really the number one level. So until we can get over this level once again, right? It is hard to say that we've officially come down and use this previous channel as support, just to, rock star send up and be a badass stock as Tesla's known to have, until we get over 333. And of course, moving back to 314, it's been a very pivotal level as well. So on the hourly, you are seeing what you want to see out of the bulls, but we really got to let more candles simmer. So with that being said, in conclusion, guys, keep an eye on 314.50 and $333. It's really the line in the sand. Stock price is set between these two current constraints, being in a little bit of a no man's land, right? Being in that spot where we're waiting for the confirmation. As much as I want to come out here and be, probably be good for the views, one of those talking heads that, a big breakout. We're sitting in an indecisive spot. Despite the macro perspectives moving in the right direction, we're seeing a little bit of short-term weakness, and we need to confirm either side before we have a strong read on Tesla. That being said, guys, if you found any value, consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. Have a good day, guys. Take care, trade smart, and peace.